Hello students, welcome to our today lecture. As in our previous lecture, we have discussed about multicollinearity. Theoretically, we have discussed about its detection, its removal, its causes, its effects. But in our today lecture, we are going to do all of these things practically. That how to detect multicollinearity. So for that we have to bring our all data from Excel file to Stata file. So as you can see that here is my data in Excel file. I have to copy my all data from Excel file, then go to Stata and go to data editor and paste all of your data set here. Then click on this option that treat first row as variable name. So now as you can see that my all data is present here. So now go to Stata file again, go to statistics, go to linear model, then go to linear regressions. Here you have to select dependent variable first. Let's suppose I am taking GDPG as my dependent variable, and then you have to mention independent variables GOV, POPD and FDI. For example, I have taken these as my independent variables, then click on OK. So this has given you the results for linear regression model. But in our today test, today topic, we are not interested to explain these results as we have explained all these results in our earlier lectures as well. Today we are interested to see that either there is an issue of multicollinearity in our data set or not. So first method is to check it through correlation matrix. So for correlation matrix, you have to go to statistics, then go to summary tables and test, then go to summary and descriptive statistics, and here you can see that here is an option for correlation and covariance. Click on this option, then select your dependent variable first. As our dependent variable is GDPG, then select all of your remaining variables, then click on OK. So now as you can see that it has given us the correlation matrix. If you do not use this method, that by going to statistics and then go to summary and statistics, then you can also use this option. This is called command option. You have to type correlate, then your dependent variable first, and then you have to write the independent variables, and this will give you the correlation matrix. So now how to interpret this correlation matrix? This first column represent the relationship between dependent and independent variables. So we are not interested in this because it is an ideal situation that our independent variable affects our dependent variable. But we want to see that how independent variables are affecting each other. So in this case, as you can see, the POPD and here is POPD. POPD is with POPD 100% correlated. We have no issue with it. But we have to compare this GOV with POPD. GOV and POPD are correlated by more than 50%. So if this value is greater than 80, 0.8, then there is an issue of multicollinearity. Anything below 0.8 is not an issue of multicollinearity. So this is fine. So we can say that GOV and POPD are not correlated. They are not affecting each other. Then comes FDI and POPD. Again, their value is in negative. So if we take it in absolute form, it is also 21, which is very much below than 80% or 0.8. Then we can also conclude that there is no issue of multicollinearity between these two variables. Then we have to see FDI with GOV, and its value is also very much low. It is only 2%, very below than 80%. So we can conclude from this correlation matrix that there is no issue of multicollinearity among these variables. So next method is As we discussed in our earlier theoretical session, next method is for obtaining the multicollinearity or for the detection of multicollinearity is variance inflation factor and tolerance. So for obtaining variance inflation factor results and tolerance, we have to simply type VIF and it will give us the results for variance inflation factor and tolerance. So here you as you can see that when I type VIF, it has given me the results for VIF and tolerance. All of these results are for VIF and this result is for tolerance, the reciprocal of variance inflation factor. So from these results, how can we say that either there is an issue of multicollinearity or not by using this method? So what is the guideline? As you can see that in our previous lecture, theoretical session, we have seen that if VIF value is higher than 5, then it indicates the existence of multicollinearity. So let's see either any of our value is greater than 5 or not. So what is the guideline? The guideline is that, or the rule of thumb is that if VIF is greater than variance inflation factor is greater than 5, then there is an issue of multicollinearity. But when we look at our results, none of this value is greater than 5. All of these values are below than 5. So it means that there is no issue of multicollinearity in this data set. So this is for variance inflation factor. So what about tolerance? So for tolerance, what is the guideline? For the tolerance, if the tolerance value is below than 0.2, then it indicates the existence of multicollinearity. So now look at our values. As you can see that all of these values are very much greater than 0.2. So it means that there is no issue of multicollinearity indicated by both of these two methods. So if VIF is greater than 5, it means there is an issue of multi. But as you can see that in our these result, none of these value is greater than 5. So it means that there is no issue of multi. So for tolerance, these are the result of our tolerance 1 over VIF, the reciprocal of VIF. And for tolerance, if the value is below than 0.2, then there is an issue of multicollinearity. But as you can see that none of the tolerance results are below than 0.2, not less than 0.2. All of these results are greater than 0.2, which also indicates that there is no issue of multicollinearity in this data set. Then the last method for obtaining the multicollinearity or for the detection of multicollinearity is condition index. So when the condition index is less than 2, less than 10, it means that there is low multicollinearity. When it is between 10 to 30, it indicates moderate multicollinearity, which is also acceptable. But when the condition index is greater than 30, then this indicates high multicollinearity or severe multicollinearity, and that is not acceptable. Then we have to remove this multicollinearity before performing any analysis. So let's see when we apply condition index, what are its results. So we have to go back to again stata file. Then we have to type the command for condition index and it will give us the results for condition index. So this is the command for obtaining condition index. So now let's enter it. So as you can see that when we have entered this command for condition index, it has given the value of condition index. So as you can see that its value is less than 20%. It is between 10 to 20. And what was the guideline? The guideline was that if it is between 10 to 30, then it indicates moderate multicollinearity, that is acceptable. So as you can see that our value is very much lies in the range, in that range. So it indicates moderate multicollinearity but not severe multicollinearity, and it is acceptable. But as we before applied three tests already: correlation, variance inflation factor, and tolerance. All of these indicate that there is no multicollinearity, and this test also indicates moderate multicollinearity, not severe multicollinearity. So we can good to go with this model to obtain residuals, and we can apply any test on these models. And here is the values of various decomposition proportion, various decomposition proportions. You can also check through either there exists an multicollinearity or not. As you can see that out of all these values, population PUPD value is greater than 0.97, is 0.97, which is indicating the issue of multicollinearity. So if we want to remove any variable from this data set, then that variable should be PUPD, because its value is very much high. So it means that this particular variable is showing correlation with other independent variable. So this method also tells us that which variable you have to draw from your model. As in our previous lecture we have discussed about how to resolve the issue of multicollinearity, and one option is to remove or drop the variable. So this method tells us that out of your many variables, which variable is causing multicollinearity. So in this model we are very much clear that this particular variable is causing multicollinearity. So we have to drop this variable from our model in order to resolve the issue of multicollinearity. So this is how you can detect the issue of multicollinearity from your data set.